Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this 3 days Lean Six Sigma Fast Track Certification Hackathon. And today is the day one. Let me explain you what is hackathon, what is the purpose of that, why we have started this initiative. Okay, let me just quickly. So, what used to happen, people used to come to the yellow belt session. They used to get motivated and used to take the admission. And, initially maybe one or two live sessions they would join. But later on, after some time, that enthusiasm would take over by the life. Okay. Yes. So how many of you have experienced such kind of scenario? Just type me in the chat box that you started with the enthusiasm, but because of after some time life takes over, some other priorities come, and then your momentum is lost in between. Correct? And we also observe the same thing. See, the live session is one of the very important factor to maintain that momentum. Okay, you come to live session, you learn some new topics, some new things, and your enthusiasm get reignited. Okay, so here, what we have done with this Lean Six Sigma Green Belt Hackathon is, so we planned this hackathon such that I will hand over, what you can say, I will just walk along with you guys until the time you achieve your success. Okay. So that's why we planned this Lean Six Sigma Green Belt, of course, Black Belt Hackathon also. So Black Belt Hackathon will happen in August first week. This is the Green Belt Hackathon. Okay, so let's start the journey today. Now in this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some parts of, not all the parts, because a lot of these topics have been discussed in yellow belt, or they are very simple topics to understand, but I'm going to cover some a little difficult topic in this green belt scenario. Okay, so is my voice loud and clear? Is my screen visible? Just give me yes in the chat box, and let's begin our journey here. Just give me yes. Have you taken your notes, notepad वगैरह सब कुछ set? Okay, let's begin the journey. Super. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the confirmation. And let's begin the journey. So now Lean Six Sigma, we all know, is the combination of Lean and Six Sigma, which we have already seen even in our yellow belt. So Lean basically focuses on removing the waste, increasing the speed, etc. Whereas Six Sigma is reducing the variation of the process and improving the quality. And they both together. So Lean brings speed, Six Sigma brings quality and accuracy, and they both together brings better delivery, better quality, better employee satisfaction, and better customer satisfaction. Now, there could be few people, anybody in the room who has not been through our yellow belt session as well. ऐसा कोई है? Just type me in the chat box. Very new person who has not even done any kind of yellow belt certification, because a lot of invitees might be there in the room. Okay. Yeah, for them, this information piece will be important. Rest of the people already know this. Okay. So these are these five, hierarchy in Lean Six Sigma certification, starting from white belt, yellow belt, what we do it on Sundays. And then comes the green belt, which is our graduation level. So this is the graduation level, which we are going to basically talk about. Okay. Now, so today's session, let's start with something called strategic forces. Okay. Now, what is strategic forces? Strategic forces meaning, let's imagine this organization, our organization as this hexagon. Okay. So this hexagon is our organization, and on our organization, there are some forces which act upon all the time. Now, strategic forces meaning the forces which can change our strategy. Our strategy meaning the company strategy. That is called strategic forces. For example, let me give you an example of this. The first and the foremost strategic force is called a customer. So customer is a strategic force, meaning what? Any customer requirement, if the customer requirement changes, it can change our strategy of the company as well, right? Everybody knows 30 minute or free delivery, 30 minutes or free pizza delivery, right? If customer asks us to deliver in 20 minutes, then we have to change our delivery strategy, our making strategy, everything accordingly. That's why customer or the market is the biggest strategic force. The second one is current competitor. What is current competitor? Competitors which are there, right now, they're visible basically. So if competitor changes their strategy, obviously you have to change your strategy. See, few years ago, I used to consult a national stock exchange. Okay. At that point in time, National Stock Exchange, there was a competitor stock exchange which was about to enter into the market. It was MCX. Okay, that was the stock market which was into commodities. Okay. Now, because the new stock, what you can say, the current competition. So, what was the current competition? It was Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange. They were the current competition. Okay. Then comes the potential competitor. तो पोटेंशियल में आएगा वो MCX SX. Potential में आएगा the mobile trading. So all this technological stuff, the potential competitor can bring in. Now in the current telecom scenario, now we have currently Jio and Airtel and Vodafone and all those stuff, and now the Starlink is coming in. It's a potential company, a new technology, right? A new speed of internet, everything. So it's a potential company that will also change our strategy. Then comes the government policy. Anywhere where you see government policies changing, for example, the plastic ban, and then the GST implementation, and then you have the demonetization or any kind of tax structure changes. So any government policy which changes obviously have an impact on our company's strategies. Okay. Then comes the complementer. What is complementer? Complementer meaning the companies which are complementing with our company. For example, the products or the services which complement with our products or services. For example, let's say automotive industry and the lenders, let's say. Okay, lenders mean the banks and the NBFCs who give the loan to the buyers, okay, to purchase that automobile. So the car company, the car manufacturers and the lenders. If the car sale goes up, the lending requirement goes up, right? And vice versa. Both are very, complementing with each other. Let's say construction industry, which is real estate industry, and the steel and the cement industry. These are, complementing. So if one goes up, other also goes up. If that goes down, other also goes down, like that. Okay, so they are called complementing forces. The next one is called substitute. Substitute meaning the technology or the product which can substitute your product and or your service. That is called a substitute. Like, for example, if you have seen earlier in 70s, when computers came in first time in US and other European countries, it substituted typewriters earlier. Then came the laptops, which substituted the computers, desktops, right? Then came the mobile phone, which literally substituted a lot of gadgets, right? Like desktops and even laptops also, even telephones have been substituted, even cameras have been substituted. So a lot of technological changes which have substituted the products. So these are the strategic forces which are acting upon the organization all the time. Now, the main point is that, let me ask you this question. There are two parts in your organization, where the first part is your maintenance of your old products and service, or maintaining the status quo of the services. Status quo meaning as is, जो भी standard है, जो भी define किया हुआ है, that is something which we will be maintaining. So maintaining the old products and services, this is what we do most of the time. Now, let me ask you one question here. Okay. If you are a working professional, working for an organization, any company, okay, how much time do you give? Let's say 100% is the time every day. How much time do you give for improvement and innovation? Type in the chat box. Everybody, be very honest, very, very brutally honest. How much time do you give out of 100% time you have for your company? How much time do you give for improvement and innovation? Type in percentage. Okay, if you are giving all the time in improvement and innovation, just give 100%. If you are giving no time, just give 0. If you are giving some time, maybe 5%, 10%, okay, just type accordingly. Be very, very honest. Be super honest with you, sir. Okay, so 2 to 3%, 0%, 50, 50, 10%, 20%. Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. So 5 to 10%. So here you will realize one thing. Most of us basically give more focus on maintaining the current standard operating procedure, current products, current services. That's what maintenance is all about. Okay. And very less focus is given on improvement on quality, delivery, cost, and service, which we call it as QCDS, quality, cost, delivery, and service. That's where Lean Six Sigma makes a huge, huge impact. See, all these strategic forces are forcing us to change because they are changing all the time. Customer requirements changing all the time. The competitors are changing all the time. Potential competitor coming in the market. Government policies are changing all the time. So everything, there's an external pressure of changing. If we're not changing internally our processes or products and services, that means we cannot survive in the long run. And we have seen the examples like Nokia's and Blackberries, and there are so many of them, Kodak, and so many of the big companies collapsed because they could not make the changes. There's a very famous quote from a visionary CEO of GE. The name of that visionary CEO is Jack Welch. Now we can say late Jack Welch. He's no more now. He is ex-CEO of General Electric, GE. So GE was the company after Motorola and initial couple of companies. GE was the company who took the initiative of implementing Six Sigma across all the functions of the organization. It was GE. So what Jack Welch says, this statement is very important. See, I'm just paraphrasing. It's not. I'm not just exactly quoting the same word to word, but try to understand the meaning of it. What he said was, Jack Welch said, if the rate of change of external, just remember this, verbatim, just for your understanding, rate of change of external is greater than the rate of change of internal. What is external? All these forces. Okay, these are the external forces I'm talking about. If the rate of change of external is greater than the rate of change of internal, see, internally also we are doing some improvement, right? Smaller improvement, some Kaizen projects, some initiatives taking. But if the rate of external changes is greater than the rate of internal changes, then it is the beginning of the death of the organization. I repeat the statement, just try to understand this. Okay. If you have understood it, just type yes in the chat box. Okay. The rate of change of external is greater than the rate of change of internal, then it is the beginning of the death of the organization. How many of you got it? Just type got it in the chat box. Everybody. And that's what said by Jack Welch. Very, very important, profound statement. So he was basically focusing on we should always improve, and our rate of internal changes always have to surpass the external change rate. Very profound, isn't it? Thank you very much. Thanks for the confirmation. So this is called as, yes, exactly. Continuous improvement is all what is required, which is required for the improvement. Okay. Now, so this is strategic forces. Now let's talk about some of the, we are talking about the defined phase, introduction to Lean Six Sigma, etc. Okay. So this is basically the path which we are going to talk about. Now I'm just showing you the same content of our defined phase. Okay, our green belt curriculum. Okay. So project identification, then the vocabulary we'll see, SIPOC, project charter, stakeholder analysis, communication plan, all these things we will cover briefly, quickly. Okay. Now, selection of the project itself is a very, very important stuff. Now, who is accountable to select the project? That's the main question. Okay. Who is accountable in this white belt, yellow belt, green, black, and master black belt? Who do you think is accountable to select the project for the organization? Type in the chat box. According to you, what do you think? Who should be basically accountable to select the project? Type in the chat box, everybody. चलो सबको type करना है. Everybody should type whatever is the answer. According to you, who should be the person accountable for this? Super. A lot of people have mentioned black belt. Some people mentioned black belt, master black belt, process owner, etc. Okay. So the answer to that is master black belt is accountable along with the top management, which is, you can say the process owners or HODs, okay? Top management people. All right. So master black belt with top management people will be accountable for this. Okay. Now, here is something which is very interesting. If master black belt is not available, then black belt along with the top management can do the same work. Okay, because master black belt may not be available in all the organization. All right. So master black belt is basically a full-time role as the change leader of the organization, but all the companies don't have master black belt facility, but black belts they have. So black belts with top management do this. Okay. So green belt. So the bottom line is green belts are not directly accountable, but a brief part is, what you can say, available. Okay. If only green belt is available, then, what that green belt should do is they should upgrade themselves to black belt and get some promotions and, get the management to approve that as well. Okay, if only green belt. Of course, if nobody is available, then that person only has the responsibility. Okay. Anyways, coming back to some of the project selection sources. Now, what are the project selection sources? The first one is called a strategy. Okay, strategy. Now, we have already seen the strategic forces, right? Now, let's say 30 minutes of free pizza delivery. If the competitor is giving 30 minutes of free, and let's say competitor comes out with 20 minutes plan, then you have to reduce your lead time to from 30 minutes to 20 minutes. And that itself is a project. Correct? So your strategy can be a very good source for your Lean Six Sigma project selection. Then comes the SWOT analysis. What is SWOT analysis? It is a strategic tool to identify strength and weaknesses of the company, okay, which are the internal metrics, and then opportunities and the threats of the companies, which are basically external. So strengths and the weaknesses of the companies are, internal metrics. Now, so this exercise is done with the top management in the boardroom, considering all the top people sitting in the room. Maybe it can be facilitated by some senior person, some consultant like that. So SWOT analysis identifies what are the strengths we have, how do we increase the strength, which weakness we have, and how can we eliminate our weakness. So that wherever there is a gap, we can identify the project. And what opportunities we have. Let's say geographical opportunities. Right now, let's say if you're catering only in India, then how we can cater to, let's say, Middle East market, how we can cater to African market, how we can go ahead to, Eastern European market, or maybe Southeast Asian nations. So how we can expand our footprint, it's an opportunity. And then what is the threat? Do we have any threat from the competitor? Do we have any technology threat? Do we have any government policy threat? So all these are threats which are basically exercised. So wherever there is a gap from here, then we cover this. So in the master black belt level, now we cover SWOT, and there is another very important tool we cover, which is called Hoshin Kanri. Okay, Hoshin Kanri is also very powerful Japanese tool to strategically identify the weaknesses and the opportunities for improvement. Okay. Now, the next one is the low performing key performance indicator, KPIs. Okay. Now, everybody just, can you type one of your KPI of your process? Just type in the chat box. Everybody, just type one KPI in your process. KPI is key performance indicator. Yes, just type one KPI. So let's read it out so that I just want to check you understand the meaning of it. एक KPI लिख लीजिए. Production planning. So the production number itself is a good KPI. What else? The target. Okay, so just be a little specific. Which target? Be a little specific. Yeah, breakdown. Breakdown time is a very good KPI to monitor. We have to monitor our breakdown times of our machines, our scrap. Scrap is a very good KPI. See, understand this. So whichever KPI is not performing well, that's your target project. Okay. Reduction of errors. Very good. That can be a very good. TAT, turnaround time, is a KPI. So to reduce the turnaround time itself is a very good option. Correct? So all these are the low performing KPI that can be a source. Customer complaint is a fantastic source of identifying the project. You can select the project from that. Then cost reduction. Now this particular case, this cost reduction is basically loved by management. If you really want to become the blue-eyed boy or a blue-eyed girl of the management, then you take cost reduction project, because directly whatever cost you are reducing, that is reducing your your profitability is increasing. Basically, you're directly hitting the bottom line of the company. Okay, so this is the very close to the heart projects of the management. Wherever you can save the cost with the help of Lean Six Sigma, management will give you full throttle support to do these projects. Okay. Then all the quality issues, okay, internal quality issues, external quality issues, customer complaints, all this comes into quality issues. So these are some of the sources to find out the projects. Okay, clear hai? So these are sources of identifying the project. Are you clear? Just give me yes in the chat box, everybody. I repeat again, these all presentations are coming from your green belt curriculum only. I'm just taking you through green belt curriculum stages, okay? I might skip some of the, typical, let's say, for example, project charter. I will not cover today because we have already covered it in the yellow belt and it's very simple to understand. Okay. But I will cover some of the statistical part today, standard deviation today. That will be more interesting for you guys. Okay. Very good. Amazing. Super. Chalo, let's आगे बढ़ते हैं. So when you select the project, there are certain things we have to take care of. One is called as, it should be meaningful and manageable. When I say meaningful, it means meaningful to the customer and meaningful to the business. Any project which is not meaningful to the customer and not meaningful to the business should not be selected as a project. It should be meaningful, meaning it should be important either to the customer or either to the business. Are you understanding? Yes. And it should be manageable. What do you mean manageable? It should be within the control of organization. That means the root causes should be in the control of the organization. You should be able to take some action on them. Are you understanding? So this is very important, that it should be manageable within the control of the organization. It should be meaningful. It shouldn't be too big to handle. Like World Hunger Project, we always say this, पूरी दुनिया की भुखमरी मिटा दूंगा मैं. इस प्रकार से project नहीं होना चाहिए. It should not be a World Hunger Project, and it shouldn't be too small project. Too small meaning reduction of lead time by 1 minute or 2 minutes, or too minuscule project. इसका ज़्यादा कुछ अहमियत नहीं है. Okay, so these kinds of projects should be avoided. See, Lean Six Sigma is a very powerful tool. So you make sure that this powerful tool should be used for something very important and should not be wasted in meaningless project. That's the important understanding of this. Okay, it should be meaningful, manageable, not too big, not too small. I'll give you a couple of graphs that will give you some idea, some perspective about this. Okay, look at this first graph. Now, when it comes to importance and urgent scale, look at this. On this vertical axis, y-axis, it is importance, and on the horizontal axis, urgence. Okay. Now, a lot of people fall in this trap. They select projects which are very urgent. So they select projects somewhere here. These are called super urgent project. Super urgent project. What is super urgent project? Already it is delayed. Customer is on the doorstep. There is a pressure on delivering the result of it. These are called super urgent projects. Those projects should not be selected. The reason being, these kinds of situation might, what you can say, might lose the focus, might reduce the quality of the project. You may not be able to deliver the result which is expected. So always, so not important is out of question. Not important project should not be selected, not even should not be considered. But you should select moderately urgent project. Understand this. Not too urgent and not even not too urgent as well. Okay. You should select moderately urgent project. Are you clear with this philosophy? Are you getting some points? If you select very urgent project that you have to complete the project in 2 days, 3 days, so you might compromise on the quality of the project. So, better to select the moderately urgent project and not the super urgent project. Okay, that is one example. Second one is, while select the difficulty of the project, here also, so on the y-axis is important, the same like the earlier one. On the x-axis, it is difficulty. So here also you should be selecting the moderately difficult project. Not so easy and not so difficult. It should be moderately difficult project should be selected. There has to be a balance between, and I would always suggest this. When you are starting Lean Six Sigma in your company, I always suggest that select simpler projects, moderately difficult projects. These kinds of projects will be easier because the probability of delivering results will be very high. Okay, once you deliver the results positively, then management also will believe that yes, this methodology is working. Then people also start believing that yes, this process of the DMAC framework is working in our company. If you in the first first batch itself, if you select very difficult projects, and if that project is delayed or failed to deliver, then it will send the negative signal to the management. Okay, yes, are you clear with this? So it should be between moderately difficult. Okay, I'll share this one. This is all available, Sumanji, in your green belt curriculum. ये green belt curriculum ही मैं दिखा रहा. Once you log in, go to my courses, course number 1, which is green belt course curriculum. This is in the define phase of that. So I'm just going through the define phase of that. Okay, if you, yeah. So you have the downloadable content also available in your LMS system. You can download these, presentations. All right. Now let's talk about the vocabulary part of it. So in, this Lean Six Sigma, we have some vocabularies. The first one is called voice of customer. Okay. Now tell me, how do you collect the voice of the customer in your company? How do you collect? There are various means, no? Can you give me 1 or 2 means in your company? How do you collect it? Via NPS. Very good. The feedbacks. Very nice. What else? Feedbacks on link. Okay. Okay. So emails, via emails you receive. Customer complaints. Very nice. That's a fantastic resource. Feedbacks, customer complaints, net promoter score. All these are called as voice of customer. The ratings, exactly. Okay. All these are called voice of customer. Okay, but generally what happens is, let's say, for example, let me give you one example and we'll just take it through. Let's say you go to a restaurant. Let's take a very basic example. Now, you have given a little, let's say, technologically advanced examples. Okay, let me give you a simple example of a restaurant where I go to a restaurant and I did not like that service. Okay, so I will write like I didn't like your service. Okay. So a restaurant service. Now, for a restaurant, tell me, what are those main factors which can basically make the customer dissatisfied? Can you just give me one or two in a restaurant? Let's take one restaurant example, a common example. Okay. Yes, it could be the taste of the food. Very good. It could be the taste of the food. What else? Yes, it could be the order to delivery, the turnaround time. Customer has to wait for a very long time. It could be hygiene. That's very nice. Hygiene. Correct. What else? What else? Hygiene और क्या है? Ambience, hygiene, test. Yes. Yes. And the service basically. Yes. So how hospitable they are, how polite they are. Correct. Now let's talk about it. Can we measure test? Can we measure test? Just type yes or no in the chat box. Test को हम लोग measure कर सकते हैं क्या? Just give me yes, no, everybody. Yes, yes, no, no. Okay, a lot of people are saying no. Some people are saying yes. Very good. Exactly. Can we? Yes. Can we devise a scale? Okay, on the scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10, we can, ask the customer to give the rating. Like, for example, when we take a cab like Ola and Uber, we give the rating to the driver, right? Give the rating 5-star, 4-star, 3-star. What is that? It is a rating. We can measure that and then we can analyze it, correct? Now, turnaround time we can measure. Obviously, it's a minutes, right? We can measure that. Again, hygiene also we can measure. Again, on the same scale of 1 to 10, we can measure the serviceability, the hospitality, everything we can measure. Now, these measurable attributes of the service are called as critical to quality. The measurable attributes of the service. Now, when the voice of customer says, I'm not happy with your service, I didn't like your service, what we are breaking down is exactly what that exactly the customer mean to say. Is it regarding the test? Is it regarding the turnaround time, which is the lead time to delivery? Is it the hygiene? Is it the politeness? What exactly is the challenge area? So we are breaking down into measurable attributes, and that is called as critical to quality attributes. Can you give me one critical to quality attributes of your product or your service in the chat? One, only one, which you guys measure for your customer. Or if you're not measuring, but it can be measured. Can you give me one example in your company? See, live session may we will try to connect with our own process. That will help us. Okay. Yeah, delivery turnaround time. Very good. Fast completion of the project. Super. Very nice. On call or email. Yeah, very good. That's good. What else? What is the critical to quality attribute here? Type in the chat box. Everybody. One, just give me one example. Connect CTQ with your own. See, understand this. If you are understood, if you're clear with the concept, you should be able to connect the concept with your own process. That's an indication. Okay. Defect rate, very good. Correct information, customer support, fantastic. So these are some of the critical attributes which should be measurable. Now comes the voice of a design and a specification limit. Both are the same thing. Once we identify this, okay, let's say temperature is also one of the examples. Let's say the customer asks simple cup of tea. Okay, now customer says, I would like to have cup of tea at 80 degrees centigrade plus minus 10 degrees. So we have cup of tea expected, 80 degrees the target, and upper specification limit is 90 degrees centigrade and lower specification limit is 70 degrees centigrade. Anything in between will be accepted. Anything outside of it will be rejected by the customer. So if it is greater than upper specification limit, it will be too hot for the customer. If it is lower than the lower specification limit, it will be too cold for the customer. In both these cases, customer will reject it. But these specification limits are decided by the customer. Okay. Can you give me your own one specification limit which you follow in your company? One specification limit. Can you just give me one specification limit? It can be internal specification limit, it can be external specification. Can you just give me one example? Just connect it with your own process. Everybody, give me one example. Assay limit 95 to 100 points. 100 is the target, 95 is the lower specification, 105 is the higher specification. Very good. Print rubbing test. Okay, that is a test. What is the limit? Just give me the limit number. Just give me the limit number. Specification limit का एक number दे दीजिए मुझे कि we have this process, this is a target, and within this range we accept. SLA 90-20. Very good. Super. pH limit 7.2 plus minus 0.2. Very good. Super. So these are called specification limits and is also called as voice of design. Okay. Now the target is the same center which we want to basically hit. Okay. Now anything which goes beyond specification limit is called a defect. Now what is defect opportunity? Defect opportunity is number of probable defects. For example, let's say for example, if I am making shirt, let me just draw a shirt. If my company is a shirt making company, ओके इसको शर्ट समझ लीजिए, अगर शर्ट जैसा नहीं दिखा तो भी ओके चलो, तो ये है शर्ट अपना, और ऑलराइट, सो ये है अपना एक शर्ट, and if I'm making the shirt, and so in one product, so this is one product. In one product there could be multiple defect opportunity. For example, there could be stain here, there could be a stain meaning the daag dhabbe. Okay, so let's say in the chest area there could be a stain, or a button missing, it could be another defect opportunity, or the stitching error, so there could be a stitching error, stitch mein kuch problem hai, so there could be multiple defects in one product. Okay, so these are various defect opportunities, so we can count number of defect opportunities. There are various defects over here. Are you clear? So the stain, stitching error, or button missing, all are called as defect opportunities. Okay. Tomorrow we will see how the defect opportunities are very, very important for our process capability analysis, which tomorrow we will be doing that. Okay. Then comes the voice of process. What is voice of process? Voice of process, nothing but the data which is collected from the process. See, voice of customer means what? Whatever data, whatever information we are collecting from the customer, like feedback, like NPS score, like rating. So that's where the customer is speaking to us. But how will process speak with us? Process will speak with us through data. What is data? The production number. Okay, the let's say downtime of the machines, the uptime of the machines, or the scrap generated, or you can say in the BPO sector, the assay which is coming of from the product, or the average call handling time coming from the BPO sector. So all these are called the voice of the process. The data, the performance data coming from the process is called as voice of process. Okay. And what is project Y? What is project Y? See, for example, let's say that, so let's go back to the original discussion. The customer is not happy with the service of the restaurant. What was the challenge? So after probing question, customer says that a test was not good. Okay. So we collect the data of the test, and test is found to be at 5 out of 10 rating. So majority of the customers have rated very poor to the test. So the test is 5 out of 10. So we take up the project. The project will be like this: to improve test from 5 out of 10 to, let's say, 9 out of 10 by August 25, 2025. Then this becomes our project Y. Okay, Y is the output. Are you clear? So from voice of customer, this is how we identify the project. Clear, everybody? Just type yes in the chat box, everybody. Yes, what needs to be improved? That is, so from that voice of customer, we have identified a meaningful and manageable project, and that is called project Y. Clear? All the vocabularies are clear? Just give me yes in the chat box. Very good, very good. Now, so this is all explained in with the examples. You can go through that. Now, let's talk about something called Professor Noriaki Kano's model is called as very, very famous model called Kano model. What is Kano model saying? Once you collect the voice of customer, understand this. So this is actually for prioritization of the project, okay? Kano model is for the prioritization of the projects, where you should focus first. So what Professor Kano says, there are 3 types of voice of customers you will understand, you will realize. One is called the basic feature. Second is called the performance feature. And the third is called delighter feature. Let me speak about it with some example. Okay. Let's imagine your product is just a writing pen like this. Okay. This is imagine it's a marker or the pen. What is the basic requirement from the pen? Type in the chat box. If I am producing the markers, the whiteboard markers or the just writing pens, what is the basic expectation from that product? Type in the chat box quickly in one word or one line. What is the basic requirement? Yes, very good. It should write. Fantastic. The basic requirement is the basic writing. Super, very basic. Okay, it should write properly. That's it. All right. Now, let's talk about performance. Okay, so let's take the same example and let's say pen or the marker example. So the basic feature is it should write. That's a basic requirement. What is the performance requirement? Let's imagine this pen, if I write every day, earlier would last for 1 month. That pen would last for 1 month, then you have to refill it. Okay. Now, if the company does some improvements in their product, now the pen can last for 2 months. It is called a performance feature. Are you understanding? Earlier it was 1 month durability. Now it is running for 2 months without stoppage. And that is called a performance improvement. It's a performance feature. If you're going for automotive, if you're purchasing a car or a two-wheeler, then the mileage, let's say your car was earlier giving 20 kilometers per liter. After improvement in the engine, now it has started giving 25 kilometers. It is a performance feature. Clear? And the third one is called the delighter feature. Now in the pen, delighter meaning it is not expected by the customer. It is kind of a wow feature. Wow. It is not expected by the customer. Okay, for example, Minitab Minitab lifetime access for the Minitab, which is very expensive software. It's a wow feature, delighter feature. It's not a basic feature, understand this. Okay, so delighter feature is nothing but which can give a wow feeling. For example, in the pen, it could be a digital clock, what can say, inside the pen. Okay, or a digital watch, we can say, not clock, digital watch, or you can say pen with multiple refills. It can be a delighter. Pen with scented ink. It can be a delighter. Okay, so these are all called as the delighter feature. Now, what Professor Cano says, whenever you collect the voice of customer, categorize them into basic, performance, and delighter. And while selecting the project, first focus on the basic features. If the basic features are not performing well, that should be your priority number one project. If all the basic features are taken care of, then you focus on the performance features. And then you focus on the delighter features, but not the vice versa. You always have to start from the basic features. If that is missing, then it will be disastrous for the customer. You will lose the customer. Always improve the basic feature first. If there is a gap in the basic feature, if your pen is not writing properly, don't work on the digital product. Work on the basic writing, basic ink flow, etc. That should be your project number one. Are you clear with this? This is called a Kano model, which prioritizes us, which should be your focus area first, which should be your priority area first. Are you clear with this? Just give me yes in the chat box, everybody. Clear hai ye? Kano model very super clear. I have just made it super simple for you. Okay? Very good. Super. Amazing. Amazing. Now, once we do that, so all these examples, etc., with the graphs they have given. Okay. Now, there are two parts. One is, from the voice of the customer, which is from the customer's voice, we have identified the project, which is, that restaurant example we have said. Now, there is another way which is called the internal project selection. Now, how the internal project selection happens? The first step is you map the process like this. Process 1, process 2, process 3, process 4, process 5, etc. Okay, at the macro level. Once you map the process, then, for example, like this, then you find out the yield of the process. Now, what is the yield of the process? Let me explain you with simple thing. Imagine there are 5 processes like surface preparation, coating, lead coating, primer, and painting. These are the 5 step-by-step sequential processes. Now the yield 0.97, in other words, it is 97%. 0.97 is nothing but 97%. What is 97%? If I put 100 pieces in the input of surface preparation, I will get 97 pieces without any defect, first time right, or it is also called as first pass yield. Are you understanding? So 100 pieces I put in that process, I will get 97 without any defect, out of which 3 products will have some defect, some rework is required. Similarly, pre-coating is having 94% first time right yield. Lead coating has 93%, primer also has 93%, and the painting is having 60% first time yield. Clear everybody? Basic समझ में आ गया? Just give me yes in the chat box. Everybody's clear till now? Everybody with me? Just give me yes in the chat box. Super clear है यहाँ तक? Just give me yes, 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 yes. Clear है ना? Okay. Very good, very good, super. Now understand this. What is the first pass? The total yield of this entire value chain is, you just multiply 97% into 94 into 93 into 93 into 60. So if you multiply this becomes 47% or 0.47. That means if I put 100 pieces in this entire system, I will get 47 pieces at the end of the tunnel without any defect in the first go itself. Okay, if you multiply this, I will get the multiplication. Now, where we should focus? Now, where is the lowest yield process here? Just type in the chat box. Is it P1? Is it P2? Is it P3? What is that process which they are having lowest yield? Yes, it's actually P5, which is the painting. Process number 5, which is having the lowest yield. Okay, so this is our focus area. Now, what we will do here? the lowest yield process में we will identify what are the type of defects which are coming in the painting, and we will do a Pareto analysis of that. What are the different types of defects which are coming, and we will do Pareto. Everybody knows Pareto? Just give me a in chat box. 80-20. सबको पता है 80-20 principle? Yes, everybody knows this. Now we collect the defect data and put it in the Pareto, and whatever are the top 20%, 20% defects are coming, which are contributing 80% of the rejection. So those are our projects. These are called as internal projects. Clear hai everybody? Are you clear with this? First, lay out the process, macro level, find out the yield of every process, select the lowest yield process, find out what are the defects which are coming in to the Pareto, and out of that Pareto, whatever top 2-3 defects are coming, those are your projects. Those are your project number 1, 2, and 3, or 4, whatever number of defects. Okay, every defect can be separately dealt with the projects. So this is how you can select external projects as well as internal projects. Clear hai everybody? Just give me yes in the chat box. Yahan tak everybody with me? कोई भी डाउट है आप प्लीज पूछिए मुझे, ठीक है ना? Any doubt you have, please let me know in the chat, and I will be more than happy to help you out in this one. Okay. Now let me just talk about a very important tool which is called as SciPoc. Okay, SciPoc. So let me quickly open my whiteboard, share my whiteboard, और हम लोग एक SciPoc करेंगे on the whiteboard itself. SciPoc is nothing but, okay. So once we identify the project, the next part is SciPoc. See, I will not cover the basic project charter वगैरह मैं अभी cover नहीं करूँगा, which we have already taken care of in the yellow belt as well, and it's very simple. Okay, project charter simple है, आप chat GPT से भी कर सकते हो वगैरह वगैरह. Okay, so I will cover something which you can do, okay, on your own. Now here we go. So what is SciPoc? We all know that process. We all know input, process, output, right? So for every process, there is some input, there is some process, and there is some output. Correct? Now, input comes from a supplier. Somebody supplies the input, and output goes to the customer. So input, process, output, which is which is there. Now the input comes from the supplier and output goes to the customer. And if you see this acronym, it is called supplier, input, process, output, and customer, and that is called SciPoc. Yes, SciPoc. Throughput yield is actually yield only. Yes. So output upon input. Yield is what? Output divided input. The same thing. Throughput yield is the same thing. What was the output and what was the input given to that? And what came out as the output as the first time, right? That is the throughput. Okay? Now, are you clear what is SciPoc? SciPoc is nothing but supplier, input, process, output, and customer. Okay. So let's take one example. It's a broad level process map basically we make. Let's take a simple case of the tea making process. Okay, chai बनाएंगे. Okay, how many of you can make good cup of tea? Just type me in the chat box. चाय तो मैं भी बनाता हूँ लेकिन कोई पिएगा नहीं. Who makes good cup of tea? A tasty cup of tea जो लोगों को अच्छा लगे. तो चाय तो सभी बनाते हैं लेकिन पिएगा नहीं कोई. That is not. Okay, good cup of tea making. Okay, चलो. So हम लोग चाय बनाते हैं. Someone is smiling. Okay, now here we go. So what would be the first process? So the first step of SciPoc is making the process first. Okay, तो हम लोग process पहला बनाएंगे, and let's make it to 2 to 3 steps. Okay, just to understand this process. Now, can we say the first process step as boil the water. Okay, तो हम लोगों ने will boil the water. Let's make it. Okay, the first step. Okay, imagine the water has started boiling. After that, what will be the next step? Type in the chat box. Imagine that the utensil, the water has started boiling. After that, क्या add करोगे? Okay, अच्छे चाय बनाने वाले आंसर दे दो. Okay, give me the answer who makes good cup of tea. Add milk, add tea powder, ginger. Very good. So can we say add all ingredients? Correct. Includes what the tea powder, the ginger, the milk, and sugar. Sugar is also important. वो भी है. Correct. After all the ingredients have been added, it has started brewing. Okay, boil ho gaya hai wo. Tea granules have started breaking and it has started mixing in that mixture. After that, what happens? Okay, so the entire mixture has started boiling. After what happens? Type in the chat box. What should be the next step? उसके बाद क्या है? हाँ, so milk वगैरह डाल दिया. So सब डाल दिया. We have added all the ingredients. After that, what we do? Yeah, चाय उबल रहा है. Okay, कस्टमर खड़ा है वहां पे. Let's say हमारा चाय का टपरी है. We have we have a चाय टपरी. Okay, we stir. We keep on stirring it. Okay, pour it back. Okay, strain करना पड़ेगा ना, लेकिन straining, right? We strain it, correct? So strain and let's say serve. Can we say that? So we serve it, filter or straining it, strain and serve, correct? So boil the water, then add all the ingredients, let it brew, let it, boil the entire mixture, and then you strain and serve. So these are the three major steps of this. Now, in the boiling of water, what are the inputs which are given? Just try to understand this. So can we say water is the input? Yes. Can we say the bowl? Very good. The bowl or the kettle or whatever utensil you are using. And then you need a gas. Then you need a lighter to light that. A gas and stove. Yes, a gas and stove, lighter. Correct. So these are the ingredients which are required, the inputs which are required. Then who is the supplier? So water can be from the municipal corporation or the society in which you are having this stall. So that will be the supplier. So society is the supplier of that. Then the bowl or the kettle can be the vendor. Gas from the gas company. Let's say there is a gas company which supplies you the gas. If gas agency, you can say yes. Now on the other side, what is the output? Boiled water is the output of this. Boiled water is the output. And who is the customer right now? Because we have not given it to the customer. So let's say you are a tea stall vendor. So the tea vendor itself. Okay, the tea vendor or the tea stall vendor is a customer right now. हाँ, वो last में होगा. Once we strain and serve, that will be given to the customer. But these are the internal processes, right? Boil the water, adding the ingredients, they're the internal process. So will not give it to the customer directly. So right now the customer is the internal customer. Okay. Now add ingredients में, all the ingredients will come like milk, like sugar, like the tea powder, and like all the gingers and all these things, correct? All these things, and the respective vendors of each and every element will be the suppliers. So what is the output? Ingredients added. Okay, that will be the output. And again, the tea vendor will be our customer. Okay, then the strain and serve. So we have a strainer and a cup, which will be the input. And again, the respective vendors will be the suppliers. And what is the output? It is the hot, refreshing cup of tea served. And Who is the customer? Now the final customer will be our customer. So we will give it ultimately. Okay. So can we put customers as not applicable? No. Actually, if you see, there are some internal customers as well. For example, so let's say process A, B, C, D. So B becomes internal customer of A. C becomes internal customer of B. D becomes internal customer of C. So there will be internal customers. So in the customer column, initial steps, we will have internal customer. And finally, you will have the expected. Clear? And this entire process is called SIPOC. Now, what you get is here, if you want to improve the test of the T, this is the process you need to focus. That's it. These are the 3 steps you need to focus. And if you really see, I hope everybody knows y is equal to function of x, which is the output is depending on the inputs. Everybody knows this equation? Yes? So here our y is the test, which is depending on all the inputs. If you see here, all the x's you can find out in this column called input. Okay. In the column of supplier and a customer, you will find all the stakeholders. All the stakeholders. What is stakeholder? Stakeholder meaning all the people who are impacting or getting impacted because of this process. The people who are impacting or getting impacted because of this process are called stakeholder. So you will get stakeholders in the column 1, which is supplier column. यहाँ पे आपको मिलेंगे stakeholder, and you will get stakeholder in column number 5, which is customer column. So SIPOC gives you the entire outline, the boundary of the process. SIPOC gives you the inputs of the process. SIPOC gives you the stakeholder of the process. That's why it is called as a very important step in the defining phase. Are you clear? What is SIPOC? Just give me yes in the chat box. This is a very brief explanation of a very simple tea making process. Okay. But when you, so you have a homework here. Homework is this. You should make a SIPOC of your own process. Okay. So you have this, you can make it in simple Excel, make a list of the process step, find out the inputs, who are the suppliers, find out the outputs, and who are the internal customer and the external customer. You can make the SIPOC, and I guarantee you this, that you will get huge insight about your own process. Okay, that's the homework for you guys. Okay, so that's about SIPOC. Let me just quickly cover some of the other parts. Just a second. I think this is what it is, I believe. Okay. Yes. Everybody with me till now? Just give me yes in the chat box. Sab log. Yes. Super yes. Very good. Now, so I just mentioned about stakeholders, right? So what do you mean by stakeholder? Stakeholder meaning, as I mentioned again, the people or maybe departments who are impacting or getting impacted because of this problem, because of this process are called stakeholders. Now, when we do the project, we have to form a project team, and we should have the representations from the stakeholders. Okay. Now, because we are human beings, and human being is a complex phenomenon to handle. Okay. Now, initially, I'll give you an example of this. When, let's say you start a project with enthusiasm, your CEO comes in, your managing director comes in, announces the project. Imagine the scenario. Your team members are sitting there. They are also enthusiastic. They are also saying, yes, we will support the project. We'll give our level best. We'll give our 200%, because the top management is front of them, right? What happens after that? After 1 week, after 10 days, you are following up with them for the data. You are following up with for the meeting. You are following up for some information. but there is no reply from them. How many of you have experienced this kind of a nature of people, just like me in the chat box, in your experience? Have you experienced this kind of phenomenon where in front of top management, everybody is enthusiastic? Yes, we will do it. But as soon as the time goes, the enthusiasm dries down and the reality hits you hard and nobody is supporting that. Have you experienced this before in your company, in your experience? Just give me yes in the chat box. Lot of time. Okay. It's a human nature, by the way. But the challenge is that how do we address this? And that's where stakeholder analysis comes very handy, comes to support us. Okay. What is stakeholder analysis? It is the tool basically which shows the engagement of the people, the commitment level of the people. Okay, let's say, for example, here are all the stakeholders. Let's say sales, management, employees, customer, supplier, all these are stakeholders. Okay. And these are various commitment levels like supporter, compliant, indifferent, uncooperative, opposite, hostile. Now, supporter meaning fully is giving the support, wholehearted support. Compliant meaning whatever you are telling them to do, they are doing it. They are complying. Okay. Indifferent meaning उनको कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता. It does not matter to them. Uncooperative, they are not at all cooperating to you. Opposing, they are verbally opposing to you. Hostile, sometimes they could be physical, they could be abusive as well. They are, heightened kind of resistance they are showing. It is called hostile nature. Okay, so there are various kinds of commitment level, negative commitments and positive commitments as well. Okay, so as a as a project leader, okay, you want all of your people should either be supportive or at least compliant. Yes, everybody with me till now? Just give me yes in the chat box. As a project leader, you want all the people should be either supportive or at least, if not wholehearted support, at least comply. If I call you for a meeting, at least show up to the meeting. When I ask you for the data, at least provide that data. At least provide your input. At least implement this, the solutions which we are giving. Okay, this is called a compliant. So here, so there is P and there is R. What is P? P meaning the present level of commitment and R meaning the required level of commitment. For example, let's look at the sales department. So P meaning the presently they are opposing to this project and R meaning the required. So you want them to be here, at least to be compliant for the project. You want their support in this project, but they are opposing the project. Okay. The reasons could be various. For example, the reason could be the attrition in the sales department. A lot of people are leaving. It is giving additional pressure to the people who are already there in the system. And additionally, if you ask them to do the project, they will be opposing to the project. So their concerns could be really genuine, but you should be understand and address those concerns. And this is a very important tool to at least show and give the rating that where they are right now and where you are expecting them to be. Then management is at, the P and R at the same level, meaning you want them to be supportive and they are supportive right now. Employees also present level are uncooperative. So what basically is expected is you want them to become compliant and support. So you want all of them to be on the top. So what can you do here? The best way to uplift them to the top level is to communicate with them. And communicate does not mean unko gyan dena, unko philosophy dena. No. Communication means listening to their concerns. Be available to them. If they're not supporting, don't prejudge them. Just be open-minded. Speak with them. What is happening there? Why are you not supporting? Just ask them. Sit with them. Listen to them. Give them enough opportunity to present themselves, their case. Why they're not supporting. Okay, that is where we are the communication. See, it's a leadership skill basically. So, like we are also taught right from the childhood, like Sama, Dama, Danda, Bheda, right? What is that? So, Sama meaning explaining. Dama meaning giving some reward and recognition. Danda meaning giving some punishment. Okay, Bheda meaning just remove them from the system if they're not giving the result. Okay, so these are the four things which we can also. But here, communication will solve a lot of challenges. See, these what you can say projects are short-term projects, which are let's say 3 months, 4 months projects. So for that much of time, you need to make sure that these are cooperating to you. These are supporting to you. Okay. And this tool called stakeholder analysis makes a huge, huge difference while gauging at what level of commitment these people are standing. Okay, are you clear? If even after your explanation, your communication also, if things are not moving, you can escalate to the manager and HR. Okay, are you clear with the stakeholder analysis? Just give me yes in the chat box. Very powerful tool, by the way. Clear hai? Just give me yes quickly. Everybody's clear till now? Super. Just after that, there is something called as RACI metric, RACI metrics. It looks like this. Now, what is RACI? RACI meaning in this, all the stakeholders are basically listed here. So these are all stakeholders. All stakeholders are listed here. And then these are the activities or actions they are supposed to do. Okay. Now, what is RACI first of all? RACI stands for responsible, R for responsible, A for accountable, C for consulted, and I for informed. Okay, let me just break down one by one. Let's talk about RA first. Okay. Responsible and accountable. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are in a cricket match, let's say, for example, a bowler is responsible to take the wickets. Batsman is responsible to make the runs. But the captain and the coach is accountable for the result. Are you clear with this? Responsibility and accountability. Accountability is where the buck stops. Is the ultimate answer giver is accountable. Are you understanding? Yes? Are you clear with this? Responsible are the doer, accountable are the answer giver. Who will be asked the question? If let's say there is a workman and a supervisor, so workman is responsible to deliver the production, quality, etc. And supervisor or the manager is accountable for the results. Are you clear with responsibility and accountability? Just give me yes in the chat box. Are you clear with this? Responsibility, accountability clear hai? So here they have just given, executive leadership is accountable to, lead and fund and, new processes implementation. They're accountable. So who is accountable? Who is responsible? You have to make a graph like this. Okay. Now let's come to consulted and informed. This is very important. Now let's talk about consulted. Let me give you one scenario. Okay. Now you have one master black belt in the project and you have a CFO. Now, master black belt is a Lean Six Sigma expert and CFO is a finance head, right? Now, let's say you have a query. Now you want to do a hypothesis testing, which is a Lean Six Sigma tool, and you are stuck there. So who do you go to consult to? Where will you go to consult? Do you go to master black belt or do you go to CFO? Type in the chat box. If you are stuck in hypothesis testing, which is one of the Lean Six Sigma tool, where do you go? You go to MBB. You go to consult MBB, right? Now, second scenario is you want to automate a process which requires 20 lakh rupees investment. Now, who do you go to? Do you go to master black belt or do you go to CFO? Exactly. So this is where the consulted comes into picture. So you have to define which role, where do I go to consult? Okay. And then comes inform. Inform meaning I for inform. Now, during the process, you need to inform the management, the progress. You need to inform the head of the department. You need to inform the people, process people, where because you are making certain changes, right? So who do you inform during the entire journey? That is also you have to define. Okay. So it's called RACI metric, RACI metric, responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. So which stakeholder will be informed in which process step? That is something which this entire matrix is talking about. Are you clear with this? Just like yes in the chat box. Responsible, accountable, consulted, informed, clear hai? Just give me yes. Super clear? Very good. Now, after that, we have the communication plan. What is communication plan? How these stakeholders will speak with each other, will communicate with each other via what media. That is something a plan you can make during the project. Now, this is a very temporary plan for the communication during the project. Okay. So here all the stakeholders are there on the X and Y axis, and how they will communicate with each other. Okay. For example, the ST meaning the steering committee. Steering committee is a group of the top management people. Okay. And CC meaning the corporate coordinator. That means a project coordinator basically. Okay. So TG review meaning toll gate review. So steering committee and a corporate coordinator or the project coordinator will communicate during the toll gate review. Now, what is toll gate review? In this DMAC framework, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control framework, every phase we have toll gate review. Just like in highway, we have the toll gates, no? That the toll plaza will we give the tolls. Similarly, after every phase, there is a review, and where top management will review the progress of the project, and it's called toll gate. Okay. So steering committee, everybody will meet during the toll gate review. Okay. Then the coordinator will communicate via email, via reports, okay, via reviews, etc. So how you will be communicating? Will it be a face-to-face meeting? Will it be a WhatsApp message? Will it be a toll gate review? What exactly will be the communication plan? That is something will be shown in this communication plan. Are you clear with this? Just give me yes in chat box. Clear hai? SIPOC, stakeholder analysis, RACI metrics, communication plan. Are you clear with this all four? Just give me yes in the chat box. So that basically concludes our define phase, which is common for any project, whether it is yellow belt project, whether it is, green belt project or black belt projects, all are basically common. Okay. Once this is completed, then we go to the measure phase. Okay. So what we'll do right now, we'll take a quick 10 minutes break. All right. Just refresh yourself. We all know that you are working today, right? I'm also working given training program today. So we'll take a quick break of 10 minutes. And once we're back, we'll start our measure phase. So we'll start measure phase today and we'll carry forward measure phase tomorrow as well. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Communication methods are fixed. No, it can be interchanged. These are just templates. Okay. These are templates you can absolutely change according to your company. Okay. Yes. Super. So let me just check what is the time right now. It's 8:23 in my. So let's take 12 minutes break. We'll be back at 8:35 sharp. Okay. 8:35 को हम लोग वापस आएंगे. Okay. Once you are back, just type I am back in the chat box so that we will start. Haji, Mahesh ji will get the recording. Shankar ji, not to worry. The recording is on. We will be sharing this recording in the green belt hackathon folder. Okay. उस पे ये recording आपको मिल जाएगा. ठीक है? Yes. Super. So I'm just pausing this. Yeah, we'll be back at 8:35 sharp. Okay. Bye. Okay, team, if we are back, just type I'm back in the chat box so that we can start our next part, which is our major phase. Super, super. Just give me a second. All right. So welcome back to this second phase of the today's session, where we'll be going deeper into the major phase. And the major phase is all about collecting the data and doing the stuff. So what we are going to do is my voice low, is it? Is it audible now? Just give me yes. Is it okay? Audible or not audible? आवाज आ रही है, समझ में आ रहा है ना? Very low, is it? Better than before ना? ठीक है, चलो. Now we can. Okay, good. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. तो I'm just going to start sharing my screen right now. Recording is on and here we go. I'm sharing the major phase. Now major phase में हम लोग क्या करते हैं? We collect the data. We collect the data about the project. Okay. And then we basically do the data processing. So today what we'll do is we will talk about the basics of that data, the statistics part of it today we'll cover. And tomorrow we will do some Minitab exercises as well. Okay, that will be, so tomorrow will be even more exciting. Of course, today also we'll learn some fundamental statistics. Okay, yeah. Virendra ji, why don't you maybe just check the internet, or maybe log out and log in again, or check the headphone. Okay, super. Now you can't manage. Okay, here now, very good. Chalo. So you can't manage what you don't measure. It's a very profound statement. Just listen to this. You can't manage what you do not measure. Lot of people, a lot of people basically struggle to, let's say, have control on their monthly expenditure. Why? Because they are not measuring that. Are you understanding? Lot of you, let's talk about this. Let's be very personal and very authentic about it. Lot of you are not able to lot of you people are not able to uh, 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 uh. Let me remove this. Is it better now than before? Or still it is low? Yes? Okay, now better, na? Ha, ha, ha. Okay, chalo. So, loud, now loud and clear? Okay, good. I think there was something to do with my channel. Okay, anyways. So coming back to the same point, now what I was saying is, if we are not tracking our monthly expenditure, we will be struggling to monitor our finances. Okay. Now, if we are not measuring, our, let's say, daily timing, we are not tracking. lot of us would feel at the end of the day was, our day is not productive. How many of you feel like that? कि आज कुछ काम ही नहीं हुआ, आज कुछ किया ही नहीं? How many of you feel like that? A lot of times we feel like that because we don't track what exactly did we do, hour by hour. We don't track that. So if we want to have the control, then we should measure it. And that's the biggest thing. Okay, so when we say measure, what do we measure here? We measure the three things. We have seen input, process, output. So we measure input measure, process measure, and output measure. So in this T wala example, the test of T wala example will continue. So in the input, we have, we have water, we have milk. So we will be measuring the quantity and quality of water which is going in the tea. We will be measuring the quantity and quality of milk. We'll be measuring quantity and quality of tea powder. We'll be measuring quantity and quality of sugar. All these things will be input measures for the tea. What are the process measures? The temperature, the time, how much time are we taking to boil that entire mixture? Then the time to stir that entire mixture, that also will play a role. So these are called the process measures. And what are the output measures? The test of the tea and that lead time to delivery. How much time order to delivery? How much time are we taking? That can be measured. Test also can be measured on the scale of 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. So these are called input, process, output measure. Now in your process, let's do a small exercise here. In your process, give me one input measure, give me one process measure, and give me one output measure in the chat. Okay, think about it. In your process, give me one input measure. It should be measurable. Be very clear about it. It should be measurable. We should be able to measure it. Okay, can you just do this quickly? Type in the chat box. What? Give me one input measure, give me one process measure, and give me one output measure. Everybody, in your own process, so that this concept will be clear. And that measure should be, measure is the name itself, it should be measurable. Then only it will be called as measured. Okay. Now while typing, just press, shift enter, so that it will not directly send, right? Input का लिख लिया, फिर shift enter करो, then process का लिख लो, then shift enter करो, then output का लिख. Like that you can do it. Yeah, what is that? Charging of RM. That's the input. Very good. So you can measure the weight. You can measure the quantity of the raw material. That is the input measure. Okay, very good. What else? What is the process measure in that? Give me one process measure, give me one output measure. Yeah, reaction. So reaction time, what are you measuring there? It may be reaction time, it may be reaction temperature. That will be the measure of the input, the process, and the output. Finished product is out. Then there could be the qualitative measure of the finished product. The weight of the finished product, the yield of the finished product is called the output measure. Very good. So input is the filler wire. What else? What is the output? What is the process? What is the output? So give all the three in one shot. That will give the clear picture. Very good. Very good. Weld disposition. Yeah, welding disposition. Filler wire is the input. Welding disposition is the process. And the output is what will you measure in that output? That should be your output measure. It can be the strength of that weld. Okay. Yeah, ink and solvent is the input, set dwell time, all parameter, the process parameter, and batch coding on product is the output measure. Okay, very good. Then input measure is quantity of API, excipients, and process measure is charging time, stirring time, output is clarity of solutions, pH, and total quantity. Fantastic, Anuj. Fantastic. Input is quality of fuel, process is हाँ, so input is quality of fuel, process measure पे process में क्या measure करोगे आप? Process में आप क्या measure करोगे? Will it be temperature you will be measuring, and output में आप measure करोगे smoke. Okay, so process वाला bike drive is what exactly you will measure, वो अभी clear नहीं है. Tagging mileage. Mileage you can measure, yes. Tagging process training output is service level. Fantastic. So you got the idea about input, process, and output. Very good, very good. चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now, when you start collecting the data, you will find two types of data here. What are the two types of data? One is continuous data and discrete data. Okay, continuous data meaning the data which can be measured. Understand? See my verbatim. The data which can be measured is called as continuous data. For example, length, height, weight, pressure, temperature, okay, humidity, all these things are continuous data. What if you cannot measure it, but you can count it? And that is called discrete data, which is counted. So what kind of data can be counted? Male, female, accept, reject, pass, fail, how many people in the room. These are count data. This is called discrete data. So continuous data basically can be shown on a continuous scale with the decimals accuracy. Discrete data cannot be expressed in a decimal number. It can be a whole number, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Okay, so these are the differences between discrete and continuous. Let me give you an example of this. Let's say I have a product and I check the weight of the product, let's say, and I am a quality person, so I accept or reject. So this is the decision, accept or reject, let's say, okay, A or R. Now this one is the weight should be more than 10 grams, let's say, for example, of the product. Okay, if it is below 10 gram, then it will be rejected. Now the first product I check it is 10.2, so I accept it. The second product I test, which is 10.0, which is still I accept it. Then the next one is 9.8, I reject it. Again 10.1, I accept it. Again 9.9, I reject it. Now tell me, the weight data is called continuous data, and this column data is called discrete data. Are you clear with this example? So what kind of data do you have? Do you have continuous data or do you have discrete data? This is the type of data you are collecting. Clear hai? Yes, exactly. So continuous data always gives more information, more clarity about your process. So whenever there is a choice between a continuous and discrete, always go for continuous data. Remember this. Clear, everybody? Because then you can find out the trend. You can find out the the patterns, trends. You can do the normal distribution, histogram, Pareto. A lot of things you can do with the help of continuous data like this. Clear? Continuous discrete clear hai? Any doubt? Please let me know. कोई डाउट है तो मुझे बताओ. क्लियर है ना? Very good. Super. So always continuous data is preferred. Okay. Now let's enter. Once you collected the data, now let's enter into some basic statistics. Okay. Some basic statistics को हम लोग देखते हैं. ठीक है ना? So when we collect, so today we'll cover the basic fundamental, the theoretical part of the statistics. Tomorrow we'll do the practical Minitab session करेंगे. Okay. So what is statistics basically? So the simplest definition of the statistics is this. Statistics is a science which converts data into information. That's it. Very simple. Okay. So I made the statistics principle or the formula very simple. Data converting into information is what is the role of the statistics. Okay. So we do graphical analysis, statistical analysis, interpretation, analysis. A lot of things are a part of it. But ultimately, we are converting data into information. See, our brain is not wired to comprehend the numbers, the data. Okay. But if the data is converted into a beautiful graph, let's say a histogram or a trend chart or a Pareto chart, then we will be able to analyze it. Okay. Imagine, if you are a share market trader, okay, intraday trader, and if I give you a Excel sheet of every 10 minutes, what is the price of the share in the Excel sheet? Okay, you will not be able to comprehend it at all. But if I make a simple graph which is going up or going down, you will be easily able to understand whether this stock is going up or stock is going down.
because we are wired to comprehend a graph better than the numbers. Clear? And that's where statistics role is very, very important. Are you clear with this? So data converting to statistics, data going into statistics, converted into information. Okay. Now, let's focus here. Now, when it comes to statistics, there are two types of statistics we have. One is called descriptive statistic, and other is called inferential statistic. I'll give you a simple example to understand. What is descriptive statistic? Descriptive statistics is nothing but, let me give you a simple cricket example. Let's say when you see a T20 cricket match, let's say after 5 overs, the score is like this. 5 overs, 40 runs, 2 wickets down. Okay. So that is the score after 5 overs. Okay. Everybody knows about sample and the population. Just type yes in the chat box. Are you aware of sample and the population theory? Sample and the population. Very simple theory. Everybody knows about it. Yes, give me yes in the chat box. Population. Correct? What is sample and population? Let's say in the T20 match, the 20 over is the total duration, total population, total overs. And what is sample? 5 over is a subset of this population. That's what is called a sample. So whenever we are talking about the sample, yes, so sample is a part, is a subset of the population. So when we are talking about the sample, we are talking about a descriptive statistic. In the same match, we see a projected score. Yes, everybody knows this. Just give me yes in the chat box. We see a projected score. Like, for example, if they continue with the same score, they will reach to 160. If they score a little faster, they can reach to 170, 180. This is called projected score after 20 overs. And this is called inferential statistics. It is a prediction about the population behavior. So descriptive is actual, inferential is prediction about the population. So current score is the descriptive statistic, and the projected score is the inferential statistics. Are you clear? The basic fundamental clear, eh? Descriptive, inferential with this example. We when we are not well, when we are unwell, we go to a doctor. Doctor asks us to go for the blood sample or the blood testing. Okay, that is nothing but descriptive statistics. So we have 5 to 6 liter of the blood in our body, out of which the lab technician, the lab executive will take a small sample out of it and they will test in the analyzer. And after that, they will give you the report. That report is a descriptive statistics. On that sample, doctor is predicting what is the viral infection or what kind of infection is there, what is the WBC count, what is the RBC count. So all these details, the physician or the doctor will check, and he will, give the medication, suggest the medication. And this is called inferential statistics. So descriptive and inferential. Are you clear with this couple of examples? Just give me yes in the chat box, everybody. Clear here? So any doubt, please let me know, by the way. Okay, very good. Super. Thank you very much. Now, so today, what we are going to do is, today we are going to discuss the descriptive statistic part. And tomorrow we will discuss about, tomorrow and day after, we'll discuss about inferential statistics. Okay. Now, when it comes to descriptive statistics, again, there are two branches. One is called a central tendency and other one is called dispersion. Dispersion meaning the spread of the data. Okay, let me give you example on this. Let's say this example which I give regularly. Let's say there are two, the cricket example only I'll continue. So one choice is Rishabh Pant and another choice is Rahul, KL Rahul. Okay, Pant and Rahul both are brilliant batsman, wicket keeper, but selectors have to choose only one out of them. Okay, so what they will do? First, they will collect the average score. Let's say in the match, in the one-day cricket or test cricket, whatever, they will first ask the average. So let's say Pant's average is, let's say, 40 runs and Rahul's average is, let's say, 41 run. Okay. So not much difference between the averages. So what is the next one? Next one is they will ask for the variation or the dispersion. What is dispersion? If I draw a bell-shaped curve like this, so this is the spread, na? This entire spread of the data is called a dispersion. If the spread is very flat like this, that means more dispersion. If the spread is very thin, that means less dispersion. Are you clear with this simple explanation? Just give me yes in the chat box. More and the less. And we want to reduce the dispersion. We want to reduce the variation. Dispersion means the variation only. Okay, clear? Hai? So now dispersion is calculated, let's say, with standard deviation. So Rishabh Pant's standard deviation is found to be, let's say, 20 runs. So let me write here. Let me write this is average X bar, and this 20 run is standard deviation sigma. And Rahul's standard deviation is 5 runs. So on an average, so even though both are very close to each other as far as average is concerned, but the variation of Rishabh Pant is like this. So this is Rishabh Pant. Let me write in white. This would be Rishabh Pant having 20 run standard deviation, and this is Rahul having 5 run standard deviation. Are you clear with this? Very close, and very consistent. So Rahul is very consistent. When the standard deviation is low, that means very consistent. And when the standard deviation is very high, that means huge variation, not consistent. Sometimes he scores 0 runs, sometimes he scores 60 runs, but not very consistent. Are you clear? Clear with this example? So central tendency, which is center, is also important. And the spread is also a very important parameter. So central tendency we'll be checking, and the dispersion or the spread also will be checking. Are you clear? So central tendency will be checked by mean, mode, and median, and dispersion will be checked by range, variance, and standard deviation, which we'll be covering today itself. Okay, so who do you select out of Pant and Rahul? If you are a selector committee head, who do you select? Guys, type in the chat box. Will you select Rishabh Pant or will you select KL Rahul? Yes, you'll select KL Rahul because the average is almost the same, but the standard deviation is very low. He's very consistent. He's very predictable. Are you clear? Yes. When I started giving this example, I used to give example of Rahul Dravid and Virendra Sehwag. Now the characters have changed. Now those are retired, but now these people have come, which have the similar kind of characters. Okay. One is explosive batsman, other one is, a calm, cool, and, who can drive the long-term innings, very steady, predictable. Very good. Chalo. So this is clear. So we'll come to mean, mode, median, and then range, variance, standard deviation one by one. Okay. And inferential, so this part will cover tomorrow. Okay. Hypothesis and regression will cover tomorrow. Okay. Very good. Super. Chalo. आगे बढ़ते हैं with the central tendency part. Okay. So this is all explained to you. Now coming back to mean. What is mean? Mean is simple arithmetic average. Simple arithmetic mean. Okay. How do you calculate it? Let's say these are the 5 data points. You add them up. Divided by 5 is equal to your average. So in this case, 500, 750, 600, 450, all these are number of data points. And you have the average at 650. So this is the average, let's say, production numbers. Okay, this is called simple average. Now, the second one is called the mode. Mode is the very interesting one. Mode meaning, the most frequently observed value, the most frequently occurring value. Now, can you observe this data point? Can you say which value is maximum most frequently occurring? Type in the chat box, everybody. Observe this data set very closely and tell me which value is frequently occurring value in this. 75, everybody. So you have 75 1, 75 2, 75 3. That's why the mode is 75 here. Maximum frequently occurring value. Clear? Okay. Yes. Very good. Now, so if I have to draw the distribution of this, okay, इसका distribution कैसे होगा draw? इस प्रकार से होगा. Let's say 1, 2, and 3. And for example, this is 60, 70, 80, 90. Okay. So 60, we have how many data points? We have around 60. I think only one data point. Okay. Then around 65, 67, we have a couple of data points here. All right. Then 70, how many data points are there? Around 70. So there is none. 75, we have got 3 data points. So this is this. Then 80, we have 1 data point. And 80, we have 2 data points, by the way. Yes, 80, we have 2 data points. And 90, we have 1 data point. So this is called a histogram. Are you clear? How I plotted the histogram here? And this is the maximum frequently value, which is called mode. Are you clear how I constructed a histogram? The same data points. Just give me yes in the chat box. This is called a histogram. And this is how the bell-shaped curve also will form. समझ में आ गया सबको? Just give me yes in the chat. So I have just plotted the frequencies. कितना data point है? 2 बार, 3 बार, 4 बार. And this I just plotted the bars like this, and it has formed the histogram. Okay. Now, if let's say, for example, let's say if I have another 80 in this, then what would be the mode here? If I have another 80, what would be the mode here in this case? Type in chat box. Very good. Senior members are very sharp. Super. It is not the average of 75 and 80. So because we have two modes right now. Okay. So we have 75, 75, 75, and we have 80, 80, and 80. So we have two that is called as bimodal distribution. Bimodal. Okay. Because there are two modes here. Bimodal. Okay. Bimodal. Okay. Bimodal distribution. So it looks like this. If I draw a bimodal distribution, it looks like a camel back like this. Okay. Because these are two modes here. One is 75, other is 80. Clear? Both are appearing 3 times. It is called bimodal distribution. Okay. Now imagine all the data points are coming only once or only twice or only thrice. All the data points exactly have the same frequency. Then what will be the mode? Then what will be the mode of that data set? So it will look like this. Yes, what will be the mode? So it will look like this basically, this kind of distribution. So in that case, see, bimodal is also called as multimodal distribution, but in this case, it is called as no mode. Okay. And this kind of a distribution is called as uniform distribution. Uniform distribution. Okay. This is called as uniform. This is not normal distribution. Okay. This is not normal distribution. This is called uniform distribution. जहाँ पे कोई mode नहीं है. There is no mode. Okay. So if you put it in the Minitab will give you 0 or statistics, asterisk आएगा वहाँ पे. There is no mode. ठीक है? Clear है? Mean and mode clear, everybody? Just give me yes in the chat box. Mean and mode is clear. So mode is simple maximum occurring value in the data set. Just give me yes in the chat box. Super clear? Very good. Chalo, next is the median. Mean, mode, and median. What is median? Median is if I arrange the data set in ascending and descending order, whatever comes in the center. For example, this is a data set. I arrange the data set here. Okay. Okay, no problem. No problem, Sumanj. Good. Then this is a central value. That's why 19 is the median of this data set. You have to arrange the data set from ascending or descending order. Then whatever comes in the center is called the median of the data set. Clear? Clear hai? Now, let's say imagine because there are 7 data points, so only one median in the center. What if I have something like 42 here? Then I have got 8 data points. So there are 2 center values here. Can you see? 19 and 25 will be in the center. So I have to take average of these 2. So 19 and 25 ka average will be 22, will be the median of this. Clear? So in case of odd numbers of the data set, you only will have one central value, that is your median. In case of even numbers, you will have two central values, and that is called the, so you will have to take the average of these two values, and that becomes your median. Are you clear with this? Just give me yes in the chat box. समझ में आया ये? Median clear है? Very good, very good. Now, let me ask you, have you heard about percentile? Have you heard about percentile? Just give me yes or no in the chat box. Okay, what is percentile and where have you heard about it? What is that? See, percentage is different per 100. Yes, the examination, the entrance examination, CETs and CAT and all those examinations, we see percentiles, right? But how do you explain percentiles to a common man or a student or a layman? Yes, examination score may, but how do you explain? Like, let me give you a very simple analogy of, okay. Imagine this is the data set, which is a cake. So imagine this is a cake, a horizontal cake put in a table. Okay. Let me ask you one question. Now, this entire horizontal cake, just like a bread, okay, just like a big bread which is put on the table, and there are 100 people in the room. I want to distribute this cake to those 100 people equally. Okay, so I take the knife and start cutting it. How many cuts do I need to make this exactly 100 equal pieces? How many cuts do I need to make? Type in the chat box, everybody. Super. So I need to make 99 cuts, correct? Right? Now, every cut here, every cut which will make exact 100 equal pieces is my percentile value. Now, this cake you need to replace with the data arranged in the ascending or descending order. That's it. Clear? So cake divided into 100 pieces, that is called percentile equally. Are you clear with this? Just give me yes in the chat box. Super clear with this? Very simple example. If that is clear, then tell me, what is quartile? Now, percentile is about 100%, right? 100 is percent matlab per century. Cent ka matlab hai century, right? What is quartile then? Quartile meaning 4 quarters. Now, the same cake I have to divide in 4 equal parts. So, how many cuts I have to make? How many cuts I have to make? Type in the chat box. 1, 2, and 3 cuts, correct? 3 cuts I have to make, and each and every cut will be called as, so first cut, it will be called as first quartile, then this is second quartile, and this is third quartile. Clear? Now listen to me very carefully. Can I say first quartile equals 25th percentile? Can I say that? Just give me yes in the chat box. Can I say that first quartile equals 25th percentile? Yes or no? Can I say second quartile equals 50th percentile? Yes or no? Can I say that? Can I say third quartile equals 75th percentile? Yes or no? I can say that. Yes. Can I say second quartile or 50th percentile as a median? Can I say that? Just type yes or no in the chat box. Can I say that? Now, coming back to this data set, can I say this is my first quartile, this is my second quartile, and this is my third quartile, and my second quartile is nothing but my median? Can I say that? Just give me yes or no in the chat box. क्लियर है? Super. Yeah. Virendra ji, what exactly you haven't understood? Let me know in the chat. Super clear, everybody else? Yes. Haji. 15 as the first quartile. We are counting 15 as the first quartile. Yes, because, see, understand this. Imagine this is our cake. Okay, let me just delete all these things. Imagine this is my cake. This is the lowest value. This is the highest value. Okay. Now, if I want to cut this cake into 4 equal parts, first I will make the center cut, which is my median. Okay. Then I will make a cut here, which is over here. Okay. And second, I will make a cut over here. So ये 40 भी है ना? So यहाँ पे. कहाँ पे गया? यहाँ पे. So now, if you see here, everywhere you will find यहाँ पे एक cut यहाँ पे आएगा, which basically I'll give you. So for example, this is the first, this is the second, and this is the third. Okay. So every center के बीच में एक एक वैल्यू आ रहा है. देखिए ये वैल्यू आ गया ये साइड में, ये वैल्यू आ गया ये साइड में, ये वैल्यू आ गया ये साइड में. So all these 3 cuts are making 4 equal distinctions, and that's why 15, 19, and 35, first, second, and third quartile, we can see this. Okay. Clear with this example? Very good. Super. Now, see, we do not have to calculate this because we have the super software Genie with us, which is our Minitab software. Okay. So tomorrow we will do this with the help of Minitab. Okay. So mean, mode, median, are you clear with all the 3? Just give me yes in the chat box. Let's come to the dispersion. So these are the central tendencies. Okay. Now coming back to the dispersion. So if I draw the normal distribution curve like this, so whatever we have seen here, mean, mode, median, is all about the central value. What is the central value? Now, as we are talking about dispersion here, we will be talking about what is the spread of the data. Okay. So what are the 3 measurements here? 3 measurement is range, variance, and standard deviation. Now look at this. The first one is called the range. What is the range? The range is nothing but the highest value minus the lowest value of the data set. So let's say these are the production numbers. The highest value is 900. The lowest value is 300. The range is 600. If you put all the people of the room with the help with the height, okay, the tallest person, let's say, is 180 centimeter and the shortest person is 150 centimeter. So the difference is the range, which is called a 30 centimeter. Clear, everybody? Range is clear. Very good. Yes, highest minus lowest value. That's it. That's called a range. Range is also a measure of dispersion. Okay. Now, let's talk about the variance and standard deviation with this example. So I'm just explaining this in these 6 steps. You'll understand this. Okay. So the first step of calculating variance or standard deviation is to collect the data. So first step is collecting the data. So we have taken, let's say, there is a preschool. There's a preschool, and we have taken the weight of the students, of small kids. Okay. So 10 kg, 12 kg, 15 kg, 18 kg, 20 kg. These are 5 students' weight is there. The next step is take the average. So we take the average of this comes to 15. Okay, so totally 675 divided by 5 is equal to 15. Step number 3 is to calculate. Now we are calculating standard deviation or sigma, like deviation. What is deviation? Deviation is nothing but the distance. Okay, the distance, the variation basically. Okay. So now the third step is calculating deviation from the mean. So mean is 15. From the 15 value, we will calculate how much is the deviation of each and every value. Okay, let's calculate that. So first will be, let's say I write here on the left hand side strip here. So 10 minus 15. So the first deviation is minus 5. Everybody with me? Second deviation is 12 minus 15. The second deviation is minus 3. The third deviation is 15 minus 15 is 0. The fourth deviation is 18 minus 15, which is positive 3. And the fifth one is 20 minus 15 is positive 5. Are you clear? So minus 5, minus 3, 0, 3, and 5 will be the 5 deviation. Are you clear with this? Just type yes in the chat box. Clear hai ye? Everybody got the same answer? Just give me yes in the chat box. Everybody? Clear? No doubt? Okay. Now, can you just take the average of this? Just take the average and tell me in the chat box. Take the average of all these values and tell me in the chat box. What is the value? What is the average here? We have to minus 5 plus minus 3 plus 0 plus 3 plus 5 divided by 5. What is coming? So everybody is getting 0 as the answer because the total summation is coming to 0. But does it mean we have 0 deviation? Does it mean we have 0 deviation? No, there is a deviation. We can find out, right? 10, 12, there is a deviation. But because the minus and pluses are clashing with each other, we are not getting the right average. That's the reason why these smart statisticians have done. They have squared the values because squared values are always the positive values, right? So what they have done is they have not taken minus 5, they have taken minus 5 square, which is 25. They have not taken minus 3, they have taken minus 3 square, which is 9. Again, 0 square is 0, 3 square is 9, and 5 square is 25 again. So they have taken the square value because square values are always positive values. Okay. Now, can you take the average of this? Can you take the average? 25 plus 9 plus 0 plus 9 plus 25 divided by 5 and give me the answer. Give me the answer in the chat box. What is the average of this? सबका मुझे एवरेज दे दीजिए. 25 plus 9 plus what is that? 13.6. Everybody got the same answer? 13.6 average of the square deviation. Got the same answer? एक बार कैलकुलेशन सिंपल करो. 25 plus 9 plus 0 plus 9 plus 25 divided by 5. आ गया सबको 13.6? Just give me yes, everybody. जिनका नहीं आया, just recalculate it quickly. Pull out your calci and do it once again. Yes, आ गया सबको 13.6? Very good. Now, what is this 13.6? It is nothing but variance, which is denoted by sigma square. It is called as variance. Okay, it is step number 5. Now, because we have taken the squared values, we have to take the square root of it. Okay, so let's take the square root of variance, and that will be our sigma, which is standard deviation. Can you just calculate 13.6 square root of it? And can you just give me the number in the chat? I'm not doing it. I'm just going with your calculation here. Yeah, what is the square root of 13.6? Type in the chat box. Yeah, around 3.68, something like that, right? So 3.68. Everybody got the same answer, 3.68? And this is called standard deviation or sigma. Okay? Now, so we have understood the 6 steps of how to calculate the standard deviation and variance as well. Range, variance, and standard deviation. All the 3 we have covered here. Okay. Now, what is the unit of measurement of standard deviation? You remember? I spoke about what is the data. This data is the weight of the students, junior KG students. Okay. So it is in kg. What is the unit of measurement of standard deviation? Type in the chat box. Does it have any unit of measurement, by the way? Yes, no? Type in the chat box, everybody. Does standard deviation have unit of measurement? Everybody type yes, no in the chat box. हाँ तो yes, no to no. Okay, sigma, no, yes, no, no. Okay. So the answer to that is standard deviation does have the unit of measurement, and that is of the data. Okay. So when this is the data set in kg, so standard deviation 3.68 will be in kg. Okay. If we are making in centimeter, standard deviation will be in centimeter. If it is in kilometer, it will be in kilometer. Okay. What does it mean? How do I read this? Simple for a layman's language. From the mean, understand this. This is the mean, right? From the mean, all the data points are 3.6 units away from the mean on an average. On an average, all the data points are 3.68 units away. This is the average distance from the mean. Are you clear with this? Just give me yes in the chat box. Are you clear with this? It's an average distance from the mean. It's called standard deviation. More the standard deviation, more the distance from the mean. Lesser the standard deviation, lesser will be the distance from the mean. Are you clear with this? Just type yes in the chat box. Let me share with you a case here. Look at this. It will give you a good idea. So these are the 23 samples with the same average. Okay. Now, n is equal to number of data points. Just look at this. This is case number 1. N is equal to number of data points. X bar is the average and S is the standard deviation. Now, n is 23. That means 23 data points are there. X bar is the average, which is 5. You can see here, it is in the center. And S is 1.75. Okay. Now, in the second case, the spread has reduced. Can you see here? So what has reduced? N is the same, X bar is the same. Only reduction is in the standard deviation. Clear? Look at the third one. Same N, the same X bar, but look at the standard deviation, 0.85, very close. So as the spread reduces, the standard deviation number also reduces. And as the spread increases, the standard deviation number also increases. So in Six Sigma, what we do is, see, let's say these are the specification limit. Our role is to reduce the standard deviation and bring the process in the center like this, just to reduce the defects which are going out of specification. Are you clear? फंडा clear है ये? Standard deviation का calculate करने का reason क्या है? What is the reason of calculating standard deviation? Is it clear to you? Just give me yes in the chat box. Super clear है? Very good. Very good. Okay, can we just quickly revise whatever we have seen right from 7 p.m. onwards? Can you just quickly do the revision? Can you just type the topics randomly? Define phase, what the topics did we cover? We covered, what topics did we cover? So project identification, just if you're taking the note, just have a look at it. We have covered project identification. What else we have covered today? We have covered internal project selection, external project selection. Yeah, please put in the chat box. I'll answer the question. Internal, external, what else? Vocabulary, what is voice of customer, voice of design, what else? Your specification limits, voice of process, all this vocabulary we have seen. Kano model we have seen. Yes, Kano model we have seen. Very good. SIPOC we have seen. Stakeholder analysis, communication plan, RACI metrics. Correct? All these things, very good. Super, super. Amazing. So all these things we have seen. And then we have seen what? After that, we went to the major phase. Okay, major phase में क्या-क्या देखा हम लोगों ने? We have seen our types of measure, input measure, process measure, output measure. We have seen the various types of measure. Then what are the types of data? Continuous data, discrete data we have seen. Correct? So continuous data always gives us more information. Correct? After that, we have seen the mean, mode, median, the statistics. What is statistics? Okay, input converting into output, which is the data converting into information. Then statistic, descriptive, and inferential. In the descriptive statistics, we have the central tendency and dispersion. In central tendency and dispersion, in central tendency, we have mean, mode, median, and in the dispersion, we have variance, range variance and standard deviation. Correct? Yes, this much we have covered today. Okay. So the question is, 6 deviation have more variation than 1 deviation. So 6 sigma is better than 1 deviation better. Okay, that's a good question. So here, when we say 6, okay, that is how many standard deviation we can fit between the specification limit and and the basically your mean, basically mean value. Okay, so that number is basically that 6 number is all about. It's a process capability number. Okay, so what I will do tomorrow, I will cover this topic with greater details. What is the 6 sigma? See, when I say 6 sigma, sigma is denoting the standard deviation and 6 is denoting the process capability. Only remember this word. I'll explain you this in tomorrow's session. So today we will stop this here and we'll continue the discussion tomorrow with the same enthusiasm, with the same time at 7 p.m. Okay? Yes. Sadanand ji, just check your which Sunday, yesterday Sunday, day before yesterday Sunday. 6 दिन लगता है जनरली रिजल्ट मिलने के लिए. ओके, 6 दिन में आ जाता है रिजल्ट आप. हाँ, सो 6 दिन लगेंगे, तो 6 दिन में आपको मिल जाएगा रिजल्ट. ओके, super. Thank you very much for joining. We'll continue the discussion tomorrow at 7 p.m. Till the time, keep learning, keep growing. This is Dinesh Patil.